a Roaring Fork Schools production.
Welcome, Dr. Rodriguez. This is Cristina Vargas. I am the new bilingual specialist, and I'm very excited that you are here with me to talk a little bit about your new podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so Gerania has told me a lot about you, and she's very excited that I'm taking this on. So let's start with the career activity. I hear that this is a really big thing here, so I wanted to share a little bit about my core values, and maybe you can also share yours. So my core values, I will say that it would be like integrity, kindness, and honesty. I think that they pretty much define me as a person, not only in my workplace, but also at home and everywhere. So I wanted to see if you wanted to share your core values.
Yeah, thank you. I have six. They are equity, authenticity, instructional excellence, freedom, relationships, and continuous improvement. One of them is, of course, authenticity. As superintendent, it's important to me that we affirm each individual's unique identity and ensure that everyone's whole self is valued in our organization. That's true for the folks who work here, for parents who trust us with their kids, and of course, all of our students. And it's true for me as well. So, for example, even the way that I choose to dress is a part of my identity. And I think we should all have the freedom to express ourselves. My core values are central to who I am as a person too, and as a professional, and they impact my decision making.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you. So we were thinking that maybe we wanted to talk a little bit about what songs you like and define you a little bit. For me, I think it's Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a great song to start the day. So, what would be yours?
Yeah. So I have a couple of theme songs, I guess, or walkout songs, and every day that I wake up, I just feel grateful to be alive. And I hope that 40 years from now, I can look back and say, I haven't had a bad day for the last 40 years. So, one of my songs that reminds me of that is the song Good Times by Sam Cooke.
Oh, that's a good one. Ah, it's a really good song. That's amazing. I wanted to see if there is any correlation with, when you wake up every day, that you have this milestone that you have been just passed, and that you just that anywhere that you are proud that you are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really lucky to be here. So I'll share three quick stories that are connected to why I do this work. And again, just I feel really lucky that I get to do this work. And so the first is graduation itself. So my graduation from kindergarten. I always seem to do pretty well in school academically, but sometimes, and especially in high school, some of the educators in my life struggled to engage me. But I was really lucky to have a teacher who was a mentor, came to my graduation and helped me enroll in school and college. And I knew that I wanted to grow up and be like him and impact the lives of young people like me. The second is that one of my friends lost his life to gun violence that same summer. And I was traveling when it happened, but I've always just had this fear that I would have been with him when it happened if I had not been traveling.
Wow.
And I knew that I wanted to live a life where my survival wasn't an actual day to day accomplishment. And then the third is that I went to work with my dad that summer, and he was a supervisor at a lumber yard where we built frames for new homes. But because he was a supervisor, he worked 14-hour days. I worked 12-hour days. What that meant is I went with him to work an hour early, unpaid, and stayed an hour later with him, unpaid. I was making $9 an hour. I was working 60 hours a week. And I remember driving to work, and my dad asked me how I liked the job. I said, I liked it okay. I really liked the pay at the time. And he asked me if this is something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I said no. And he told me that's why you have to go to school, so you can get a degree, build a career doing something that you love for the rest of your life. And so those three stories or milestones, if you will, help to shape who I am as an educator. And again, my appreciation for just being alive and feeling really lucky to get to do this important work.
Wow. The words of your dad were really inspirational. It's wonderful. So if we go a little bit further, in your latest column, you describe your entry plan that guided your first 100 days as superintendent. How would you summarize your tenure thus far?
Yeah, so my first day on the job was July 1st. My first 100 days came around Thanksgiving break. And I created sort of this guiding plan to guide the work for those first 100 days or for the first semester. And the main objective of my entry plan was to listen and to learn. But I also outlined five main goals that I really wanted to focus on, which were to develop a strong relationship with our board of directors, to ensure a strong transition in leadership, and also just to learn about the culture of Glenwood Springs, Carbondale, and Basalt, and the Valley at large. And then also focusing on increasing student achievement. I've had the chance to connect with many students, staff, parents, and community members. And of course, there are many more who I have not had the opportunity to connect with yet, but I look forward to doing so as I continue to listen and learn this year.
Yeah, we have to remember also that you're pretty new to the valley, so you
Yeah.
still are discovering everything that this valley has to offer.
Yeah.
So you shared some recommendations for the district next steps in your column. What can listeners be or expect to see next?
Yeah. I am learning a lot about what the Valley has to offer. And so, I've listened and learned a lot from a lot of people. Of course, I have a lot to learn still, but I've also tried to really embrace some of the unique things that the Valley has to offer. One of the things that I early on as a personal goal I had was to learn how to ski. So I was born in Denver, grew up in Colorado, and I never have had been skiing. Since moving here, I have been skiing multiple times. I've taken a few lessons and uh, had many falls, and still learning, but trying to embrace it.
Well, at least you're skiing and not snowboarding. That's even worse. um, so, if we wanted to go back a little, you are celebrating your 7th month anniversary as the superintendent. Um, can you tell us more about it?
So yeah, this spring, listeners can expect to be invited to engage in not just co-creating, but also co-producing our district's portrait of a graduate. That's work that we hope to launch early this spring and have a recommendation before we go on summer break, so we can start some of the implementation of that next fall when we return from summer break. Listeners can also continue to see me and our awesome team in the central office work with our school board to update our policies, like our graduation requirements. I'm hoping that listeners are able to see the launch of our learning acceleration plan that is being led by our chief academic officer, Stacy Park, and also see an increased focus on continuing to find solutions for housing for current and future staff.
Very important. Housing is it's an issue in this valley, as many are aware. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this information and for being here today. And we'll be going through a little bit of when we're going to do our next podcast. I believe it will be in March. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our listeners. Make sure to check out our social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. We'll see you next time, March 3rd.